Hey, it's Randy at Funeral Funds of America. In this video, I'm going to show you the actual pricing for $15,000 worth of burial, cremation, final expense, life insurance, or funeral funds for a 58-year-old male. Now, first thing I suggest is go to our website, and on pretty much every page, we've got one of these quoters, and you can select the state that you live in. We're licensed in all 50 states, and you can select the coverage amount, put the birthday, put the rest of the info, click Get Quotes Now. It will take you to a page that's going to have the best insurance companies with the lowest pricing. And what that will do is it will allow you to avoid some really not terrific policies out there, like those policies where they offer those low teaser rates. And when you call up, it's such a minuscule amount of coverage, they start upselling you into more expensive plans. Or you can avoid those plans that have 2-year waiting periods that can be 200% more expensive than first day coverage. You can also call us at our toll-free number, 888-862-9456. One of our agents can help you over the phone and get you the lowest pricing. Now, the first thing a 58-year-old male should do when looking at $15,000 worth of coverage is ask themselves, is that going to be enough for my final expense needs? Now, typically that final expense need is going to be either a cremation or a burial. Now, if you're looking at getting cremated, the average cost of a cremation right now in the United States is between $1,000 to $2,000. That's if you come home in a cardboard box or an urn. Now, if you are going to be cremated and have some sort of a ceremony, the average cost is going to be between $3,500 to $4,500 right now. So if you're looking for what insurance coverage to get for that cremation where you come home in a cardboard box or an urn, we would typically recommend between $5,000 and $7,000. Now, you might be going, well, what are you talking about, Randy? You're talking $5,000 coverage, but the cremation's only $2,000. Well, yes, but you're 58 years old, and you're probably hoping to make it to 68, maybe 78, and maybe even more. And we know that prices go up over time, so we just build a little extra coverage in there to inflation-proof your plan. And if you did die, sooner in the first couple of years, there's extra money left in there to maybe pay for some of their medical bills or other final expenses that might, just not have been paid off yet because you didn't live as long. Now, if you're looking for the cremation with the ceremony, we would typically recommend around $7,000 to $10,000. And again, just a little bit extra to inflation-proof the plan, kind of the same concept we had with the first one. Now, if you are getting buried, the average cost in the United States right now for a burial is right around $10,000. Now, that's not going to be a fancy burial, by the way, but if you walk into pretty much any funeral home in the United States with a $10,000 check, they should get it done. We can't imagine that they would say, nope, we're not going to take your money, walk out the door, and you can walk 2 blocks down the road to their competitors and they'll take it, right? So just understand, most places are going to work with you on that, but it's not going to be very fancy. So typically, if you're a 58-year-old male, we're typically helping people with anywhere between $10,000 to $15,000, sometimes $20,000. But just keep in mind that if you get the $10,000, you're probably going to have to add more coverage later, another $5,000 or so. Just keep in mind it's easy to add more coverage later. So if your budget's tight, just get the 10. We can always help you add more coverage later. But if you get the 15 now, you're locking in your lowest prices due to your current age 58. Now, some people will call us up and say, hey, I want to get $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 because I want to leave money behind for my kids. And then we find out they're on a fixed or limited income, either Social Security or disability, something like that, and they can't afford it. But sometimes they'll just go, well, if I can't do $50,000, I'm not going to do anything. And what they've done is they've just sentenced their kids to having to pay for their funeral because they could have afforded enough for the final expense plan, but they were just kind of being greedy and they wanted more. And then they said, hey, we're not going to do anything. And that ends up costing the family. So again, get what you need, get what you can afford, but don't overspend on these plans either. Now, one thing we always recommend is getting that first day coverage or benefits. Now, we do not recommend those plans with 2-year waiting periods. Yeah, we'll talk about those in a moment. But first day coverage means that, hypothetically, if your plan were issued and approved today and you died tomorrow, the insurance company would have to write that check for $15,000 or $20,000 or $25,000, whatever it would be. So that's the best coverage out there. It's going to also have the lowest pricing. Now, some people would say, Randy, I like that first day coverage, but they ask health questions, and I'm not in the best of health. To which we say, hey, your health issues are our problem, not your problem, at least from an insurance standpoint. And the reason we say that is we work with a lot of different insurance companies, and they all have different underwriting requirements. They all have different health questions. So really right now, 90 to 95% of the time, we're getting people first day coverage or benefits. Really, the only reason we wouldn't be able to get people first day coverage would be is if they had some really significant health issues like a terminal illness, or they had dementia, or they're on dialysis, or in a hospital, or in a nursing home, something like that. If that were the case, we would probably refer them out to a different insurance company. The other thing that seems to happen on a weekly basis is we'll have somebody call up and say, hey, we had a family member pass away this last week, and they didn't have any insurance, and we don't have any money. And now the body's at the funeral home, and the funeral home director's not going to do anything till they get some money in his hand. And therefore, we need to get this insurance really quick so we can get a death claim paid out. We have to let them know that there's no insurance company in the United States that's going to approve and issue a policy on a dead person. You have to be alive to qualify for this insurance. So, yeah, and it's so unfortunate that the person who passed away, they knew they were going to die, and they'd probably thought about getting this insurance and said, I'm going to get it someday. And they never got to someday. And now their family is going to have to pay for this. And typically what ends up happening is families put this on credit cards, and you're going to be paying 26% interest. And a lot of these families have to pay on this for years and years and years. And what a terrible legacy to leave behind, that every time your name comes up, people talk about you not taking care of this, and probably how they're still paying off your funeral. So don't do that to your family. Don't do that to your loved ones. Just protect your legacy. Just get this in place. It's affordable. Just don't be that person. It's just so hard on the families. But let's take a look here. One thing we don't recommend is those plans with 2-year waiting periods. And Colonial Penn, they pretty popular company. I think they're popular just because they're on TV all the time. I think they've probably got commercials going every 7 minutes. It seems that way anyway. But you may not have known this, but Colonial Penn is a 2-year waiting period company. Their $9.95 plan is. Ouch, right? Yeah. And they're not the only ones. There's other companies out there that offer those products. Mutual of Omaha, their United of Omaha line, AIG, Gerber. Boy, there's just a host of other companies out there. And some of these companies have done an amazing job at convincing the American public that the only thing you're going to qualify for is a plan with a 2-year waiting period, And a lot of them will try to tell you that, if anytime you're over age 50, that's all you're going to qualify for. To which we go, don't believe such nonsense, because we help people with first day coverage all day long. Now, our 58-year-old male here is probably watching one of those Colonial Penn commercials and thinking, man, I can probably get a lot of insurance through them. I can probably get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. I'm only 58. I'm pretty young. I bet I can get $50,000 for $9.95. And then they talk with a Colonial Penn agent, or they go on Colonial Penn's website like we have done here. And a male age 58, $9.95 in coverage is only going to buy, or $9.95 in premium, I should say, is only going to buy $1,258 in coverage. That may be barely enough to cover cremation in some parts of the country. But you got to remember, this plan has a 2-year waiting period, and it's not going to pay out anything in the first 2 years if you die of a health or medical reason. So why would you buy a policy that's automatically putting you behind? Now, there's some people out there that would say, there's these companies out there that offer these really low teaser rates, not because they want to sell you the low teaser rate. They just want to get your information and get you in the system. And then what they'll do is they'll present you with that rate or that coverage that's almost nothing. And then they will start upselling you to a more profitable policy for them. And we would never say that about Colonial Penn, but some people would. And you might want to draw your own conclusions on that. But regardless, we're looking for $15,000. So Colonial Penn's weird, you know, that to achieve this $9.95 pricing, they sell by the unit, not by the coverage amount. So a 58-year-old can't get $15,000 worth of coverage. So we're going to have to play around with the units. They max out at 15 units. So let's see, 8, is that going to be around 12? There we go. Yeah, so around 12 units. And 12 units is going to buy $15,096. Evidently, that $96 is fairly important, but you know, it's $15,000 roughly for $120. Let's go see what that pricing would be with first day coverage. So we got 15,000 male, age 58 right here. There we go. Or click quote. And again, this is $120 for 15. Look at what we have here. I want to show you again. 15,000 up here. $55. And this is for first day coverage. That's what the level means. Level means first day coverage. So $55. So you got to look at that, and you've got to go, you know, Colonial Penn is more. It's more than 200% more expensive than first day coverage. And, you know, it's 55 versus basically 120. That would be $65 more a month. So that times 12 months, that's right around $780 a year. And if our 58-year-old makes it to 68, you have overpaid right around $7,800. Why would you ever get into a plan at the very start knowing that if you live 10 years, you're going to overpay right around $7,800? It makes no sense. You need to be a smart, well-educated shopper. And if you're not, just reach out to us and we'll help you be a smart, educated shopper. But let's look at some other companies here. Let's see. Let's find some other ones. Okay. You'll be able to see all these different companies here. But we'll keep going here. Oh, yeah, here's one. Lincoln Heritage. I mean, they're a fine company, I guess. But, I mean, look at that pricing. That's higher, right? Yeah. It is level coverage, though. But, yeah, that pricing's higher. So the reason is Lincoln Heritage has a thing where when you pass away, they will supposedly call 2 or 3 different funeral homes to get the lowest pricing. Maybe do a couple other things. But they charge a premium for it. They're not going to do that for free. So it's basically $83 versus $55. Roughly $28 more a month times 12 months, 1 year, that's $336. And if you live another 10 years from age 58 up to age 68, you're going to overpay right around $3,360 more a month. Or for the whole plan, I'm sorry. You're going to overpay $3,360 over that 10 years. Now, ask yourself, is it worth overpaying $3,360 roughly for a company to make 2 or 3 phone calls, maybe do a couple other things that might only take an hour or so? A lot of people would say that's a pretty good payday for an insurance company. We would tend to agree. We don't recommend you overspend the money, that's for sure. What we recommend you do is get the lower price. We can help you out with these low price companies. And then what we do is we provide a free funeral and estate planning guide. You can just download that off our website. And once you've downloaded it, print it out, and you can fill it out. Just fill out who gets what and what goes where. And then fill out what you want done after you're gone. And then once it's all filled out, you just keep that with the insurance policy. And when you pass away, everything's in one place. And your family would be protected not only financially with the insurance policy, but emotionally with the funeral and estate planning guide. And they will know that you were thinking of them while you were alive and thinking of a time when you would not be with them. And that's actually when they would need you the most. They would need your help the most. And you provided that with the insurance policy and the funeral and estate planning guide. So what a wonderful gift. What a wonderful legacy to leave behind, that you protected them all the way to the end. If you need help with that, just go to funeralfunds.com. We've got a special quarter for our YouTube viewers, funeralfunds.com/YouTube. And if you go to that page, we've got a quarter there where you can get the most discounts and the lowest pricing. You can also call us at 888-862-9456. One of our agents can help you understand your pricing and options. And whether you have an existing policy that you want us to price shop or add coverage to it, we can help you out with that. And if you're just looking for brand new coverage or just have some questions or want to know what might be best for you, we can help you out with that as well too. But we'll look forward to helping you get the most amount of coverage for the least amount of money. And we can't wait to help you out with that. Until that day comes, you stay safe, you take care. You have a nice day. Bye-bye.